milligrams of highly bioavailable liquid premium collagen, alongside a mix of pure and essential vitamins, minerals and botanicals, including green tea, goji extract, acerola and vitamins A, C, biotin and zinc. And this is not all. This premium collagen is responsibly sourced in the Atlantic Ocean. It contains highly bioavailable collagen peptides. It's quality controlled and free from GMO, heavy metals and other contaminants. And its fruity fresh flavour tastes so good. These easy and convenient 15 milliliter sachets are also perfect for taking with you on the go. Structural proteins found in the body, but unfortunately its synthesis decreases over time and starts to decline from the age of 25. Forever Marine Collagen brings you 3,000 milligrams of highly bioavailable liquid premium collagen, alongside a mix of pure and essential vitamins, minerals and botanicals, including green tea, goji extract, acerola and vitamins A, C, biotin and zinc. And this is not all. This premium collagen is responsibly sourced in the Atlantic Ocean. It contains highly bioavailable collagen peptides. It's quality controlled and free from GMO, heavy metals and other contaminants. And its fruity fresh flavour tastes so good. These easy and convenient 15 milliliter sachets are also perfect for taking with you on the go.
Good evening to you all out there. Good morning to those in the states of USA. I want to welcome you all to your show, your platform on Euroforum, where we communicate with peers. Moses Mugisha is my name, seated here in Oslo, Norway, ready at your service. With me, I have a lady and a gentleman. Three of us are from Scandinavian, and we're coming back to you to navigate a topic we've discussed here a couple of weeks back in line with identity. And we are branching that line of the crisis that has faced identity. The topic is in line with identity crisis. It is a concern, a question, a call to action, compelling us to discuss and address the identity crisis among immigrants. With me, I have Kauma Habib, a friend, workmate, and a partner in both business and service, living here in Norway. We've had him here a couple of times, and he never disappoints. Recently, I got to learn that he believes it was an error for him to be named Happy, and he's on the path to disown that name. And that also ties well with the topic of discussion today. We shall hear from him when the time comes. And I also have with me a lady by the names of Jovia Mukwaya. She's more of a regular guest on Euroforum, and it won't be far from now when we shall have her as a host. Because when the guest appears several times, time comes and she crosses to the other line to becoming a host. We want to greet you all. And before we dive into the show, I want to share this challenge, which I faced a couple of days back, where one of our viewers confronted me with a question, tying it to this topic that I watched one of your shows a couple of days back, and you were discussing the identity crisis. And what perturbed him was the fact that we used English in that show, and we're discussing the identity crisis. His point of argument was, as you're discussing and working against what he called colonization, if you guys are pushing for decolonization, why would you bring such a topic in English? And just wondering, Jovia and Kauma, what's your take? Do you think this is a topic that should be taken in one of our local languages, or it should be okay to write on in English? Habi olowooza otya musajja wa wekasubi awulugumana empologoma y'ekasubi awulugumana etemye. Before you say hello to our viewers, so kombuulira olowooza ki? Oli muted Habi.
Nga sinnagamba na halo ku bantu nsooke kwoza ku nsonga eyo. Anyway. Ndowooza engeri yakibuuza gyakibuuzizza mu Luganda kamunnyonnyole nange mu Luganda. Oba yakibuulizza ku lwa Luzungu. N'alizzeemu mu Luzungu naye kanjogere mu Luganda. Kaakati bw'ogenda mu biseera eby'obuddu baatwala abantu ne babajja ku Ssemazinga wa Afirika oba nze gye mpita Edeni ne babatwala leero gye tuyita zi America ne South America. Bwe babatwala eyo ku buzinga obumu bwe baabakuŋŋaanyanga gwe bajja e Uganda gwe bajja eri gwe bajja e Mambuka gwe bajja e Maserengeta baabatuusanga mu kifo nga temulina lulimi lukola ki lubagatta. Kaakati ng'ate omulabe wammwe ye yabayigiriza olulimi olubakola ki olubagatta. Kaakati mu kifo kye bayita Jamaica abantu baatandika okucommunicatinga mu Luzungu naye baalaba tekibakolera ne batandika olufuula nninga kyekyavaamu okuzaalibwa kw'olulimi oluyitibwa olupatu olujamaica nti Luzungu naye olw'ekifuula nnenge. Kaakati naffe era tukitwale mu bumpimpi bangi kuffe twogera Luzungu olw'ekifuula nnenge olutusobozesa okucommunicatinga wamu. Kati munnaye bwe najja ne njogera Oluganda ng'ate ensonga ezikwata ku muntu zenjogerako zikwata ne ku w'engulu eri ayogera olulimi Oluganda ataluwulira. So olw'ensonga eyo nti engeri gye tasobola kwefunira lulimi lumu oluva mu Afirika otugatta nga tukyagenda ku ki ku ddaala eryo tukyalina okukozesa luno olw'abanno abaalwe baatuwa okucommunicatinga ensonga zino kuba tuli mawanga mangi amagatte.
Sebo. Thank you, Sebo. Habi, watching up from wherever you are, that's Kauma Habi. And I was responding to a concern, or rather question, as to why we choose to use English as a language of instruction on a show where we're discussing identity crisis. So his response is in line with inclusion, and yeah, to the Luganda speaker, I need not to repeat his input. Nyabo Jovia, before you even say hello to our viewers, what's your take on that?
I think the way I'm going to answer it also is good. Let me speak for the English people. Yes, we need to balance this. I think it's just because someone has spoken a language and the other person has not, doesn't mean the person that has used it is more assimilated to the language. I need us to be clear about that. Just because you're a fluent Luganda speaker doesn't make you a more Muganda than I am. Wherever you are. I know bullets are fired, but yes, that is how I'm bringing the discussion. When we are talking about language is a form of identity, but it is not the only one. Am I clear? It is also a form of communication, a form of expression, a form of integration. Habi has talked about the globalization that happened. Us assuming that it didn't is not going to take it away. You pretending that English has not taken over the world will not take it away. Like we said, we are targeting a bigger audience here, and as polite as we are trying to reach more souls as much as possible, way past the Buganda, dimensions. So hopefully, we are not offending anyone by using English. Nene wetu tukozesa Oluganda. Era tukomawo eka, kubanga twagala eka. Naye tekitugaana kola ki? Tekitugaana kukyala. Thank you.
Okay. Words well said, well pieced up together, and in that line, we shall agree to sail through this program in mainly English. However, on different accords, we shall definitely blend Luganda in there. I want to welcome you all. This is the second episode of addressing the identity crisis among immigrants. Our target group here is immigrants, wherever you are. We might, of course, address a couple of things that engulf every single human being out there. I won't even say Ugandan, every single human being out there that is not necessarily an immigrant, but we look at addressing those aspects that make us vulnerable in a couple of aspects here and there. Jovia Mkwaya was with us here, and she, among other things, highlighted and indicated the relevancy of knowing who you are. And that will be our trigger for this show. But before that, I will request Jovia Mkwaya to say a word to our viewers. Nyawo Jovia.
Thank you very much, Moses. It's always an honor to be here, to share, to learn, and to enjoy, spending time with our colleagues from around and our viewers. It's always an honor to share with you. My name is Jovia Mkwaya, living in Sweden, born and raised in Uganda, proudly Ugandan. Yes, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jovia. Omukulu habi kauma empologame kasubi erete emirembe, ewuluguma nerete emirembe. Sebo, buuza ku balabe baffe.
Onsudiya wano ononkubye emiggo. Greetings to each and everybody. I just want to celebrate for each and everybody who just received, life, babies in your families. I want to celebrate with you. And I really feel sorry, and I reach all my condolences to everybody who lost somebody. Life is gone. But you know what? Energy lives on. That's the hope we have. So thank you for being here with us. I hope you keep with us. And whatever that we're going to discuss is our own opinion. You have your own opinion. So remember that. And above it all, if there's something that you can learn out of it, use it and teach it to your children so that we can better our lives. Else, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Habi and Jovia. Today, the 6th of October, the first week into the last quarter of 2024, we come to you as we pledged before that we shall have consistency in appearance. And one thing we are proud of as a Euroforum is consistency. Every single Sunday we surface. So, and thank you to you, dear viewers, which is would take of time, and of course the regular guests who always come around to share knowledge and experience, and above all, inspire confidence and self-worth. Today, Jovia and Habi will be sailing us through one of the cores of life as an immigrant. This topic, the identity crisis, the mother word here is identity. We first start with addressing what identity means before we cross to looking at it as a crisis. Identity, as much as I understand, cuts across different facets, and it goes beyond humans. During my senior one chemistry, I remember we studied nomenclature, and in that line, we were studying, that was a concept also of identity, but we were classifying or identifying chemical elements and compounds in that line. And we also studied classification, where we had the different setups, family, class, species, genus, looking at how an organism is classified. And that's also identity. We are trying to identify. There are those botanical names, looking at the humanity in the different categories. So scientifically, we also identify as humans. Looking at the different locations where we live, we have that identity based on geographical areas, based on countries, and of course, scaling it down to tribes. and even in tribes addressing the different accents. That's all identity. And also looking at you as a whole, identifying yourself in that space where you live, mainly an immigrant. But the fundamental question is, Kauma, Moses, Habi, and whoever is watching us, when posed with a question that who are you, what would you respond? Picking it up from there, starting with Moses, Habi, and Jovia, who are on the panel today, we shall have answers to that question. And in the same line, we shall invite reactions, concerns, and comments, and of course, personal opinions and experiences on that question that who are you? When we know who we are, when we get an answer to the question that who are you, we shall then dive into discussing the crisis that comes with the term identity. Who are you?
Who am I?
Yes,
I must say I am who I am. I am who I am.
You are who you say you are.
I am who I am. But if I would go back to my cultures and my roots, I would say Nze Kauma, the son to Sebuliba, the son to Kauma, the son to Bagetuma, the son to Sempa, the son. And then I'll tell you my roots, telling you which kind of plant I am, from which seeds that I come from. That's what I would define myself as. But if you ask me in this language that I just learned, I would say that I am who I am. And then I would say I'm labeled by the name Herbie Kauma. In fact, it's even given a number whereby when now it's digitalized. Once you put it in somewhere and you say that number when I was born and some more numbers put in, it comes out. Just like you go scan a certain product in Rema or anywhere, and you just scan the number and then we know, oh, it's a kiwi. Oh, it's a mango. So right now my name is digitalized in the systems that that's what I would be called. But I, as I am the son of Kauma and Sebuliba, I am beyond a number. I am beyond what everybody else says that I am. That's what I will tell you. So I am who I am. The son to Sebuliba, the son to Kauma, a son to Bagetuma, a son to Sempa. That's who I am.
Okay, that's who you are.
Created by the Most High.
Created by the Most High.
Yeah.
Okay, assuming one of your colleagues in ASCII posed you the same question.
Yeah.
Would you maintain the same answer?
It depends on how close you are to me.
I'm looking at a colleague friend.
Yeah, a colleague friend, like colleague friend that I work with. Yes, of course they will get such answers, and they are used to my kind of answers. Because colleagues are people I spend most time with, so I'm ready to let them know in and out on a certain level. Yet if I met a stranger on the streets who doesn't know me, I might be comfortable by just giving them the label. Because not everybody you meet in life that they gotta know you in and out. That's also part of the identity crisis that we're facing today. Because we think that today we put everything out because we believe we are like flyers. We are just like posters. Everything, you gotta make a post about it. So that is
Habi. So
other thing we'll talk about later.
Let me just interject a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, if I am to pose this formality, there is this question. It's actually a formality. Briefly tell me about you.
Briefly, I tell you about me.
Look at me as your potential employer. Tell me about you.
Oh, I tell you about me. as my potential employer. My name is Habi Kauma. I'm an African. I have experiences in my art originating from Africa, where I started in my mama land, Uganda. That's where all my roots are. That's the source of my art and productivity. I'm also living here right now in Norway, where I've been for quite some years. So I've learned a lot of art, so which I have put together to create my own. That's who I am. I am good at that and that and that and that and that and that. Yes. If you employ me, be assured that you're going to have a healthy, good employee for a reason. I'm never sick because of my roots, because of my dad and my mom and God who created me. So anyway, I would tell you everything that you need to know according to what you're going to give me, but I wouldn't tell you about each and everything that is happening in my life because you are my employee. So I would keep it on that side. That is another identity. So when you want to employ me as an artist, don't expect me to tell you about where my dad died and why he died and why. That is not necessarily needed.
Okay, that's Habi Kauma for you. He never disappoint, regardless of how you swing him. And yeah, I love the way you switched from one question to another, which seem tied together, but in context, they're actually different. Thank you for your input. For you watching us, it's a discussion about addressing the identity crisis among immigrants. Immigrants, in a very simple term, anyone living away from their country of origin. So that's our target group today. Yes, Jovia. Yeah, yes, Jovia, help me understand who you are. Who are you, Jovia?
Thank you, Moses, for that question. I was waiting for the continuation of the question, but I think I'm going to have to state it myself. You didn't give me a context, and I'm also going to agree with Habi that the context in which the question is asked determines how you're going to answer it. Where I answer this question is not where you answer. I will answer it when you find me at Buganda convention, or when you find me at church, or when you find me at work. You all get your version. Yeah. And all those versions are true. And depending on who is asking.
Yeah, you choose to give the viewer, today's viewer, their version.
Now today's viewer. So you're asking me as a guest on a show of identity crisis.
Exactly.
And this is how I'll answer it. That I am, my name is Jovia Mkwaya Namgera. I am currently living in Sweden, but born and raised in Uganda. I have lived in Sweden for a good number of years now. I am living and working in Sweden. I'm still proudly associated with my country, Uganda, my motherland, and I do engage myself in activities that help us promote culture, not only for myself, but also for the young generation here. And I am very interested in knowing more about my culture. Now that I moved away from home, I realized how much I need to know and how much I didn't know. So I am very acquainted with programs. I like to be involved with programs that are uplifting, that to teach me and to help others also learn. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jovia. And just continue with the same question. Looking at me as your potential employer.
Yes.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Jovia Mkwaya, a medical technology engineer by profession, originally a telecommunications engineer. I have my education background both from Uganda and in Sweden. I have worked with both systems, telecommunication systems and medical systems, but I believe that my calling is in the medtech world and my interest in the biomedical technology world. I'm working with analyzers at the moment, and working with you will give me the edge that I need to further my professionalism while we go together in your company. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jovia. To you watching us, you might wonder why we are having a show that seems a bit unique from the usual ones, but we want to give credibility to what we are sharing now. Discussing the identity crisis, we need to first know, we who are seated here, identity, what is the depth of the term identity? Because it's very easy to point fingers telling people how they're battling identity crisis, but we need to know using our panelists here today. Yes, Jovia and Habi, from their take on both questions, yes, we can read between lines and know what they feel about themselves. Why I needed to know this to you watching us, asking them to speak about who they feel they are and what they will tell about themselves gives us a picture of what an ideal, according to them, an ideal someone should look at in line with your identity, because it is your identity. And thank you so much for that. There is a common question where, okay, people like Jovia said that you speaking Luganda doesn't mean you're more Luganda than anyone else. When some people are asked to their names, they tend to say Bampita Mugisha Moses. And then someone who feels commands Luganda very well corrects them and tells them, actually asks them, Gweitani. So implying that identity can be both viewed as you, what you feel about yourself, and what you think other people address you as. Would you say yenze Kauma or Bampita? In line with you arguing that Bazadewa Chekabari by an identity crisis. Kauma, is it right to say Bampita Kauma Habi or Banze Kauma Habi? Nyamba.
Chisinzira. You asked me now in Luganda, but I don't know if I should answer in Luganda or English, but I'm going to try to keep it any way that comes out. Listen, Kakati, identity, and when it comes to labels and names, and you calling it yourself, sometimes you tend to use it when it fits most. I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. Or a married man, when he goes in the band, he sees a nice girl he wants to flirt with. He takes off the ring. Then his identity changes. They ask him, are you married? He says, oh, I'm single, because the ring is gone. But remember, that was an identity to him. You see, you grow up, your mama tells you, you know what? My judge, I remember, used to say, oh, you were prince. And that's not a lie. Me, until I was 5 years old, I knew my dad was a king. Until reality kicked in. Because all the time, my grandma they would drive us back to the village and say, oh mommy, oh mommy omulangira, oh mommy omulangira. That sat fast in my brain. We are in Kasubi. Some kids come from up, they have bicycles. We don't. What kind of prince am I? You see? So my name, which was given to me, do I fit it? Do I fit to be called a son to Sebuliva with the world behaved into the world? Whoa, to kango yana kwega na mzade ungo koze binoga leta wange bali bamuitana gundi. You understand? So I say I am who I am. It is deeper than I can explain it right now to you. But according to the situation that I'm in life, which name do I give myself? I respect the names that were given to me by my dad and mom, minus one. That is Herbie and Kauma. Kauma has the root. Habi. That is a story of another day. But anyway, So I would say which level, yeah, according which boutique I'm in. That's how I will explain myself.
Okay.
It depends. Matugwani mwechigude na cheche sana jendi. When mpiyanga jako ita professor, I say it out, I'm Professor Herbie, because it would fit him. Till they ask me wasomera wa.
So, wewale nnyo. Jovia, help me understand how important someone's identity is in the spaces around them.
Thank you very much, Moses, for that question. How important it is for your identity around. I didn't get the question. What was the question?
One's identity is in the spaces around us.
Yeah, thank you. That your identity is going to, it's very important because it's going to determine how you feel about, it's saying how you feel about yourself. First and foremost, because I don't know that you are shy. I don't know that you are proud of who you are. I don't know that you're on a journey of self-discovery until you tell me, you know? So the way you identify yourself gives me an idea of how I am going to, approach subjects around you. And so because of that, it's very important how you decide to phrase yourself. Like we saw when you're asking us that question, that whoever you're talking to, depending on how you express yourself, is how you want them to perceive you. In life, I have learned that there are three kinds of identities that we possess. I don't know if we've talked about this before, Moses, that who
No, we
you
didn't.
Okay, if we haven't, then we can take this opportunity to talk about it. But it's a very big topic. We can dig deeper into it on another day. There are three kinds of people. Who I am, me as Jovia, who I am. There's that person. Then there's the person who I think I am. I might think that I am a very humble person, that I am a very educated person, that I am a God-fearing person. I'm a very open. I think that person. And then there's a person who people experience me to be. You get that point? That I might be thinking these things, but the experience that I put out there, I cannot control that. So there is that other person. The question now about the identity crisis is that, can you make these three people the same person? Because some of us are actually those three people, and they're really 2 or 3 different people, and they never meet. So it's very important.
And most likely,
yes?
if they meet, they fight.
Of course, they're going to fight if they're not the same people. If during that day you were a good person and at night you were a robber, how are these two people going to live in the same body? But when you're presenting yourself out there, you say, "Oh, I'm a very good person. I am very helpful to the community." But at night you're the one involved in other activities. It's just an example. Those three people, can you get them to meet? Then that way you can control your identity. Other than that, it becomes very hard. For you to do that, you have to be able to do a reflection of how you are, get feedback. You've been talking about feedback, Moses, for a very long time. Find out from people who are experiencing you. When I'm talking to you, Moses, do I experience you the way I feel, I think, I know myself? I have talked about sense of belonging. Then in the process of that, you understand yourself. And after you've understood yourself, then you can label yourself how you want to be labeled. When you ask that question of how do you present yourself to a future employer, you don't know how hard that question is until you have to ask for a job. I didn't know how hard it is until I had to ask for a job. And now I've realized that it's hard because I've forgotten the answer. You have to actually prepare you literally prepare yourself for how you're going to present yourself. And I have learned that in these developed countries, it doesn't matter how good you are on paper. If it's not matching what they are seeing, they will not take you up. Sad, but it's true. And because of that, it's going to determine your social interactions. If you come up to me, there are topics that we know that are off there, that are off discussion for certain people. If they present them and they say, I'm here, I'm I am so and so, but when it comes to talking about family, you don't step away from me, don't talk about things like that. You have already determined how we are going to interact with you. So when I'm around you, I want to talk about spouses, I want to talk about relationships, I want to talk about children, because you have already set the room. You know, but if you're a person like we've been talking about, if you're looking for a job, but then you're presenting yourself that, you know, I'm self-contained, I am self-made, I've done everything by myself, you know. As a future employer, I'm going to look at how is this person going to be able to add on to me, you know? The fact that you have said that is going to give me an interaction that says, I need to be, you know, careful while I am interacting with this individual. So this
Jovia, you're muted.
the examples of the things that we need to look out for. Then it also, like we're talking about immigration, we are in a different culture. It also shows your adaptability. If you're going to go to a shop and you insist on speaking Yoluganda when they don't know, they only can speak Norwegian, but you said, no, they will have to learn my language because that's how I identify. Is that being adaptable? And do you really think you're going to win that argument? So there, depending on where you are and, you know, what you want to get out of the situation should determine how your identity is you're putting out your identity. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jovia. Again, you're watching Euroforum. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, discussing identity crisis among immigrants. Having Habi living in Norway and Jovia in Sweden, and I'm also here in Norway. Feel free to chip in with a comment, question, or even an addition to any of our submissions. Habi.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of identity, is identity a dynamic entity? Is it something that changes, or the Habi of 25 years back will be the Habi of 5 years from now?
Such a beautiful question. Thank you. The truth is, it depends on what you see. I'm just, I don't know what my sister said. She said that we have 3 different identities, all of us, and beautifully said. But I'll bring it to you in the other form, which we say we have 3 different identities. Like some believers, we believe that God is in Trinity. I'm gonna take you to that side, and I say there is I, there is and there is my. Did you hear that? That's you expressing everything that you call to be yourself. I, am, and my. So when you look at that, those are different changes in personalities while you're talking still about yourself. So when you ask me if it keeps on changing, look, I was born, I didn't even weigh maybe 4 kilograms, but they called me Kauma. I grew up, I became 10, they still called me Habi Kauma. But this, who sees me outside, I've been changing through the time. That's why I call it my body, because this changes. Everything that is in identity with the word my, know that it can change. It can go away. But anything that comes to that is pride and ego. You hear me? Whenever you say but when you say I, you're describing the deeper inside of you. This is I. This is how you came out of the world without anything you call or my. So everything that comes with my, you will leave behind, but except I. So identities change, but you always need to fall back to the real one, which is I. Your body changes, like the clothes you put on, but the one inside never changes. Okay. So what do I mean by explaining this? These things will keep on changing according to different situations that you are in.
My brother, before you ride on,
Yeah.
help me understand. I hope I'm not the only one lost. I might have a couple of our viewers in the same boat with me. You said there is I, am, and my.
Yes.
You said you described the deeper end of you.
Yes.
And you said my
No,
changes.
I
It
said
is my body, like you said. And then is egoistic or something like that.
that's where your pride and ego lies in between.
Okay. No, I could be wrong grammatically, but whenever I say I might say I with something else, but there are cases where I say I am, and I combine the I and am. So let me know when I can only say am, and then I continue am, because I thought I am.
Have you ever done something and you say, I'm gonna do it?
And that's my point, because am is more of a spoken English. And then I am is the grammatical English, which is the grammatical correct phrase. So I am this, and then am. Help me understand these philosophical terms so I keep on track with you.
Words have been keeping changing among generations, and you should know one thing, that even those who believe that when God created the world, he used words which were spoken, not which were written. So there is a lot of big stress in the words that we speak out, even beyond what we write down. Because anything, power, energy comes with sound. So when you say, I'm gonna do it, or I might do it, I am is when you put your inner being together with whatever you built. I am a doctor, I am a teacher. But that's why when you go to the other side of the Rastas, they say I and I, you and me. There is no difference. It's one. When identity crisis, if I'm allowed to go deeper for you.
Please. Okay, yeah, please do.
The first time identity crisis happened in the world, before we go to immigrants and everywhere, when God created us, he created us as one being, where we didn't see differences between us. Where you didn't look at your wife and you say, oh, look at the hers different. The first time they say our Chintu, Son Nambi, said, oh, the bone of my bones, the flesh of my flesh. He looked at her like he was looking at himself. But the moment they sinned, what sin was they separate themselves. Because when God came looking for who you call Adam, who I call Chintu, when he came looking for him in the Eden, he said, where are you? And Chintu said, I am hiding. And he asked him, how are you hiding? And he said, I'm naked. How did you know that you're naked? Then he blamed God and said, the woman you gave me. Or he blamed the other side of him. So that's when people started to saying, I am by myself. You are by yourself. But when you say like Rastas, I and I, that's when you get back to one. That's what I was trying to get you. So identity crisis has separated us to the day that today men are trying to be women and women are trying to be men. Why? Because how the system is running them, how things we wish of my, we are all running after my, and we are losing the I and even the am, because we are not men of pride anymore. I must have there, if I keep on grilling in, identity crisis has been there spiritually, and now it's even taking a higher rate. Olina identifying anagamba anze mukwano gwange yesimu nzabe waffe nabesonyiwa ngesimu yabe. If we come to that level whereby you say anze waffe syakuba simu nakowa, and I've said these words now, but this phone knows me better than my own sister. Isn't that identity crisis? So that's what it has been going on from day one that we came onto earth, I must say. Tata, nkomyawo.
Okay, thank you so much. Habi Kauma, njagala nnyo engeri gy'oleetamu ensonga zo zireeta n'ozireetamu 2D n'oziyingiza 3D ng'omutayina wavaawo nga tategedde. I really love that, and thank you so much. We shall now take a short break before we come back to have Jovia help us understand in depth the 3 kinds of people, because it is quite important for us to leave this show when we've really understood the depth of identity, the 3 kinds of people. Who am I, who I think I am, and what society experiences of me. And then we shall ride on. So, but for now, we shall take a very quick break, water break, and we shall come back. Stay tuned.
Fevalin Metalworks Limited abakukolera enzigi ez'omulembe mu mbaawo, glaasi oba ebyuma, amadirisa ag'omulembe, zibbalukoni ez'abalodi, enzigi za garaje ez'akabi, ebikomera eby'embaawo ne chain link, amakakwe eggamba ag'amalako aga klaasi. Tukuleetedde promotion kuula amalungi gye tutuumye katono oba keke. Bw'okola order naffe tukusalirako ebitundu 10 ku buli 10%. Tukkiriza n'ekibanja mpola ate mu katono promotion osobola n'okusasulangako buli mwezi. Emirimu gyo gireme kuyimirira, ffe tujja kukubeererawo ofune ekituufu. Jangu tukugonzeze mu kirooto ky'ekyokuzimba nga promotion ekyaliko. Tukubireko oba WhatsApp ku 0784 59 21 oba kuba direct ku workshop yaffe ku 0752 933 194. Lean Metalworks Limited, crafting your curiosity.
Yes, Jovia.
Wanjiseb.
Yes,
Yes,
Nyabo.
Moses.
There are 3 kinds of people. There is a Moses who I think I am, a Moses who I am, and a Moses that the people around me experience. How do these 3 Moseses differ?
If we dive into this one.
That's why it's identity. Because when we know these things, then we shall have answers to, yeah.
Okay, let me try to remember as much as I can, and we are here to learn from each other. But yes, but the concept is true. The definition is personal. It gives us the different dimensions of our identity and our perceptions. Who you are is your core identity. Who I am is my core identity. As a person, I am believing this is my authentic self. There are things I know about me, and I know people do not know about me.
Exactly.
And yes, I might be this is an example. I might be this I might have made acquaintances with you people here in these countries, but there are things you don't know about me back home, from my family, things that could be very shameful to me, but I know they are very well kept away from me. But if someone approached you, Moses, you would say you know me so well because you have been assimilated with me for a very long time. So this is the core I'm talking about, and these things talk about my core values and principles. They could talk about what I believe in as a person. I might portray that I'm a Christian, but that is something I know. I can differentiate myself. These are just examples, viewers. They are not personal opinions. My personal traits. Am I an introvert or an extrovert? That's an example. If you met me, I've always joked about this, and I say that if you met me at work, you might mistake me for an introvert, because when I am at work, it's a different environment, and in that environment, I have accepted that it puts me in a place where I am in a more learning than I am. It is more beneficial to me to learn than to express myself. So I am not out there giving views, I am receiving them. And I might come off as an introvert, but that is not who I am. I may be identifying as an extrovert. My life experiences that have shaped me, we have learned that as we have grown up, our education backgrounds are different. You know, like Habi grew up as a prince, and then you come here and tell him that he's just a common immigrant. And I was like, who are you to define me like that? His whole identity is he's a prince, you know? He's the son of a king. So, you know, this like they are different for all of us. And then our innate qualities and passions, there are things that I am passionate about that you might not know about. I may be passionate about arts and crafts, but I'm in an environment that does not let me express myself. I'm not going to take my sewing techniques to job, you know? They might never know about me like that, but that is who I am. And I know how I've experienced myself like that. Now, who I think I am. This is my image. This is what I think I put out there. How is the rest of the world experiencing me? From my eyes, not from the world's eyes. When I look at myself and I see the world, I'm evaluating my strengths and weaknesses. Like when you asked me about a job interview, I evaluate myself and I say, when I'm presenting myself as a professional to the world, I am a med tech engineer. They see me like that. If I'm not, my boss might have a different view, but in my opinion, I am that. When I come out here and I say I am a Christian, you might have a different view, but when I look at myself and I see the view I'm putting out there, this is who I think I am. This is what I want. I want to be. I want, like I said, I want my aspirations and goals are part of this image that I want to develop in the programs that are helping us help the younger generations learn about our culture while we are abroad. This is the picture I am putting out. If it's the same picture that is being seen, that's a completely different story, but that is what I am putting out. Then how others are experiencing me. This is where now I think the biggest picture of what we be that I will say my people. I always say my people. You know, immigrants, Africans, Ugandans, you are my people. This is where we have our biggest opinion, and this is where we get it wrong, that we think this is the only image. And when they ask me about Moses, like, you know, that is my only definition I have about you, regardless of who you presented yourself as, regardless of who you are as a person. I am only bringing out my perception of you as a person. Or, Buganda, you know, because of I've only got one part of his life, his social roles in society, and I'm only using that to define him. And unfortunately, we cannot control this. We can only work so much to affect it, but we can't control it. And then there are also cultural biases. I'm going to come here and present all the values in my discussions in English, and then they'll say, we're associating and Uganda. No, tamanyi na dogera, you know.
Abantu bayononeka batuuke ne bakyukira ddala.
You know, that bias, that society is going to impose a bias onto you, and you cannot, unfortunately, you can't help it. You can only influence it so much. For us to have these three together is the subjects I'm battling with. So when you find the solution, please run it by me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jovia. Omukulu Abu Matovu agamba, watching from the mighty Oslo. Regards to Euroforum and the guests, Jovia and Kauma make a perfect team. Are they related? Exactly. And I think this question ties in well with your submission. So now Abu and Matovu, Abu might have watched you guys for quite some time, and probably perceives your angle of reflection, your mindsets, and to him he perceives a correlation between you, and he wouldn't be wrong to think that you're related. Thank you, Abu, for watching, and anyone else out there watching, thank you so much. Kauma, just after I've picked Jovia's thought on this, I'll ask you to dive into the black world. The black world, don't get scared.
Yeah.
I mean, October is a Black History Month, right?
Yeah.
And you remember, sorry? Put me right, Jovia.
Not that I recall. I remember like it was February.
Okay. As much as I know, it's October, but
I
we
stand
could be.
corrected.
Yes, I could be actually, I could be wrong, but you watching us, correct us, drop a comment there. But in that line, from the much I know, we can, to guide this question, let us agree it's October for now. October is a Black History Month, and years back, there was this wave, Black Lives Matter. Yes, I will need to pick your thought in that line. But before that, Jovia, is religion one of your identities?
Thank you very much for that question. Before I answer that question, I need to bring it to light that I am an immigrant from a very religious country in Uganda that is living in Sweden, that is a not so religious country. And one of the social rules that we have here in religion in Sweden is that there are two things you don't discuss in public. You don't discuss your religious affiliations. You don't discuss political affiliations. I found that very interesting, considering those are the only two things my countrymen. Those are things that, apart from football, those are the things that have joined my countrymen on a stronghold while they are drinking or out partying. Those are very interesting topics to us. But unfortunately, where we are living here, you can identify. You are not allowed to throw it out there. So am I still allowed to be a Christian under the bed? That is the question for our viewers. But I am a Christian.
Okay.
I do believe
Thank
that
you.
Jesus is my personal savior. Thank you.
Yes, in that line, I saw a comment here from Smoggy. Smoggy says October is a breast cancer month. Yes, that's correct. But could you also type in Black History Month and see what comes?
I actually did the research when you were asking, and it is October. It has always been October, although there was a recent wave there when the law was passed and they started taking February as a Black History Month. I don't know why, but it is October.
It is October. Okay. Okay. Let us juggle between October and Feb. But Kalma, you come in.
I won't let that go.
Okay.
It's really sad, and it kills my soul to feel like there has to be one month in a full.
No, Happy, that's where actually I want you to go. Just hold it there.
To say this is the
time. Hold it there for now.
Yet we go in school and study, be beaten just to learn European history and why are you guys talking about African history?
Okay, Happy, hold it there. Jovia, let me just get done with Jovia and we cross over to Oslo. Jovia, yes, now that religion is one of your identities, help me speak to someone watching us about that flyer.
Yes, our dear viewers, the Scandinavian Church in Sweden is having a revival week in the week of between 13th to 19th of October, where we're having a preacher from our very own home country, Pastor Peter Nserekomale. He's a very vocal and very enthusiastic preacher that I have experienced personally. That you shouldn't miss the opportunity to listen to him while he goes through the week discussing the joy of mission life. And this is going to be on the Zoom link that is showing on that flyer down below there. And the dates are between 13th and 19th of October. That is 2 weeks from now. The Sweden time is in Sweden or Norway. In the Scandinavia, it's going to be between 19 and 21. In the UK, it's going to be between 18 and 20. In Uganda, that's 20 and 22. And in Canada, that's 13 to 15. Please, you're all very welcome to come and share in the joy of mission life. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jovia. Yeah, at least I understand there are so many jokes around religion in Europe about an immigrant in line with religion. There is a joke that when immigrants settle in Europe, they become less religious, and the jokey answer is that all their prayer requests are almost answered. Whatever they used to pray for is almost answered. And I want to give a disclaimer that this is a joke, which is running on social media. But Jovia, thank you for that. And I see a couple of comments here. Kauma, I know you're boiling with wanting to cast out, to vent out your wrath on how the black the black race is viewed. But Abu is emphasizing that Feb is Black History Month. Smogy says Omologoma Kauma Sebo Kajambo and Engineer Jovia Kajambo. Otherwise, I'm in class here to learn. Boo says Jovia is wrong. It's Feb, also referring to Black History Month. Ian Isaac says in the US, Black History Month is celebrated in Feb. That's why we have started to relate Feb as a Black month. Thank you so much, Isaac. And yes, I might have to edit my facts. And actually, that's the essence of your forum. Actually, the last time I checked, it was still giving me October. But we also know that there are different sources from which we fetch or collect information. Thank you. Habi.
Yes, sir.
Black History Month. To start with, Black Lives Matters. That caught attention in different corners of the world. But again, I just realized that among us Blacks, we have divergent views on the wave. Not every Black believed in that. And what's your take? But you could also merge it with the other venom you are venting out.
First of all, I don't believe in us people of black texture on our skins, melanin. To say that we have 1 month in years to learn our history. It's really sad that today, many of us, as of us seated here, we could be asked out of blue, out of our beds, and we are asked, okay, how many presidents has Uganda had? And we have to be, Mutesa, you start to count.
But it's only 1 president.
Hey, Jovia, I hope you know the kind of table you're shaking.
Yes, I'm speaking for the majority of Ugandans, and I know I'm waiting for the comment section to comment.
So I always joke about it, and I said that my dad, if he knew that he used to pay so that I can be punished, so that I can be brainwashed and reprogrammed from what I was supposed to be. Abana Uganda, they know all the cities in America and the states more than they even know all the districts of the country they are living in. So it is really sad that we only get 1 month to know about Black history. Black history, if we know that humanity started in Africa, why would we give that source where the history started before our technology and understanding? Don't you think Black history should be taught every day? Because you know why? Cutting off Black history is cutting off your roots, not knowing where you're from. That's right. That's the reason why today you love it when you take Palasit and you look down at your grandmama taking Mululuza down in Uganda. Why? Your grandma is still connected to the roots, while you're self-medicating yourself with whatever chemical you put in your body. So Black history has a lot of things. Reason why it's only given 1 month, so that you can focus to celebrate. Celebrate like omuntu adduka n'ettooke limu yeetinga ayina ki nkota. You celebrate for 1 month. Is 1 month enough even to teach the history of only Uganda or only Kenya? So about Black Lives Matters, yes, that time I was a young man. I believe that all lives matters, and I've met a lot of challenges. People saying, oh, so when you say Black Lives Matters, all lives don't matter. No, that's not what I'm saying. But even in a boxing ring, when they see that the other one is punching too much, Liv says, stop, take some little time, man. And you count for this one. So that was a punch back that this is becoming too much. Because you know what? It doesn't change the fact that I'm a Black man. But that's still not the only thing that defines me. Deep in, kuba ne Michael Jackson bwe yakyuka okuva okubeera omuddugavu n'afuuka muzungu, era yasigala nga this is my skin and this is my color, this is my body, naye nga yo yali munda teyakyuka. And the one who was inside was the real king of pop. So being black is not it all. But when you come to the unfairness, I don't think black history should be given 1 week. It should be taught in schools for like forever. Like in Africa, it should be it's a must.
Habi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. There is a comment here from Abu Matovu. Kauma is wrong. We have International Women's Day. 12th August is International Youth Day. 14th Valentine's is Valentine's Day. And I is wondering that, do you mean otherwise? Maybe I could also add.
I
could also add that Friday was, I think, International Teachers Day. So just blend that in your argument.
I really thank you, Mr. Abu. You are my uncle here. No, when kulamusiza corner, ekano obanka gam kademu jabanangi. Kompada kabuzo kaziu. But this is what I'm going to tell you. There can be Valentine's Day, but I don't need to wait till Valentine's to celebrate, to make love to my lover. There might be a youth day, but I don't need to wait till the youth day, until the world. That's where the world is strict. That you wait till Valentine's to show love to your lover. Bagenda mukutwalako. Gwelinda nga Valentine nga lolete ebimuli byokka. If you wait until the African map so that we celebrate and show our kids that this is how Africa is, this is where we're from. Bagenda banazo obwongo. By the time you realize that this is the history we need to teach every day, not to wait for the math. So me, I don't look into these celebrations because our mothers, that throughout the year they are given 1 day. That's why we also have an identity crisis. Every day is a Women's Day. There are no days women are not mothers. There are no days when women are not putting their lives online for their families. This has been njogera ku mirembe gye gyava bva ku bino ensi byekyuse nti oyambala no maama ayambala mwenna mufulumira kumu ne taata abaana ne mubawa ba professional babakuze ne maana ne mugana naye abaana no tebatufaanana mpisa ntuteeka bannange tuzaala mibiri. You start to argue, but ask yourself, how much time do you spend with your child to teach them who they are than you trusting your money green to take care of your child and to give them, he or she, the identity that they have to associate with? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. So for me, there is no black math. There is no, that's the question I ask. Is Uganda independent? Okay, we're going to celebrate it on the 9th. But is Uganda independent? Wamba Damasuti for the past years.
Yes,
everybody who gets $1 million to 2 to 3, Uganda. Is that kind of independent?
Habi, if I may choose, so Habi, if
I don't celebrate days. I'm gonna take it even deeper. I don't even celebrate Christmas. First of all, if
no.
We have been washed to the extent that we remember women on women's. Nze banange singa nali mukazi nze nasaba ko ne mukama Katonda nyamba nkwebaza najja ndi musajja this time. Abasajja abakazi tubawe all days.
Jovia kuba mugalagana kyekyo.
Mubaleke bino byebeera lusa. You know, women have just gone crazy in the way that twagala mwenkanonkano and mwenkanonkano basala level bajja wansi bo balowooza badda wa. Women, if I explain to you who they are, They are the hands of God, that where we come from to come onto this planet Earth. Buli muntu ali ku nsi kuno gye emikono mwe yabumbibwa. Nga temunnazaayo biweebwayo 10 eri oba mubiyisa mubizungiriza omukyo mutuukako simanyiiyo. Mukwate ebiwaayo ebye10 mubitwalire bannyammwe abakyabalina abalamuzi owange singa waali singa muwa. As much as I can. Ekyo nkyogedde mu Luganda. So, identity crisis. Gwe kwe kukkiriza ennyo na buli kimu ky'oli. N'oleka obwana bwa muganda wo omuto. Akyali e Uganda mu busibe. Ng'okimanyi ddala talina wajja n'ogaana obuweereza emitwalo 3 bugende busome. Naye n'okwata emitwalo 6 n'ogiweebwayo mu kiweebwayo eky'e10. That's identity crisis. So, I don't celebrate days. Have I ever done it? I was young. I thought like a young man. Kakati, nkuze, I think like a grown up. Eriso ly'omukulu ewaddugala we walaba. Neyanza nnyo kojja wange Abu. Every day is every day for everything. It's every day for my youth. It's every day for my love. It's every day for my independence. It's every day to fight my freedom. It's every day for everything. So I'm not going to wait for the world to recognize me in those days. No.
Sebo, thank you so much. I love the depth at which you took it, and I believe there is a lot our viewers out there have gotten to reflect about as you responded. As you spoke, there came a comment from Ian Isaac, where he says, Abby, I'm listening to what you're saying, but the problem is that we Ugandans, stroke blacks or Africans, don't try it or decide our narrative. And I mean, in most important human activities, say politics, climate, history, etc., we do not have a global influence. We are mostly seen as entertainers. That's in sports and music. Our brains or opinions are not valued. That's why kids in Uganda know more about the Western countries than Africa in general. Yes, I totally agree with Isaac. That's a very unfortunate fact, but that's it anyway. Habi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Jovia, as we come to the end of the show, I want us to further direct the topic of today to see how much we can take from it. We are addressing the identity crisis among immigrants. And we often are living in these well-to-do countries. We are entangled in a moment or in cases of belonging. Of us, we want to belong, we want to fit in. And in most cases, it is okay and right because integration is a core in these countries. But again, assimilating and wanting to do everything right by the book written by them, that becomes a challenge. And one would address it as getting lost in the crowd. Jovia, do you also realize that in a couple of occasions, we get lost in the crowd? You're muted.
Muted.
Thank you very much. Do we get lost in the crowd?
Yeah, do you realize, do you experience that in your network?
Oh, this is a personal question, or I thought we were talking. Personal question?
Well, actually, your personal observation in your immigrant network. Do you realize that sometimes, or most cases, we get lost in the crowd?
I have never been as lost in my life as I have been when I immigrated. From the word go, I've been getting lost, finding myself, getting lost, think you have got it, and then, you know, it's a roller coaster, I should say. But the beauty about it is that you find your way if you want to find it. And you do get lost if you don't want to get to find it.
Yeah, sorry, Jovia, I realize that your submissions are very, very, very crucial and interesting, but unfortunately, your mic is kind of breaking. Yes, I recommend that we take a very quick break as you log out and come back. Yeah, just because, thank you.
natural proteins found in the body, but unfortunately its synthesis decreases over time and starts to decline from the age of 25. Forever Marine Collagen brings you 3,000 milligrams of highly bioavailable liquid premium collagen, alongside a mix of pure and essential vitamins, minerals and botanicals, including green tea, goji extract, acerola and vitamins A, C, biotin and zinc. And this is not all. This premium collagen is responsibly sourced in the Atlantic Ocean. It contains highly bioavailable collagen peptides. It's quality controlled and free from GMO, heavy metals and other contaminants. And its fruity fresh flavour tastes so good. These easy and convenient 15 milliliter sachets are also perfect for taking with you on the go.
Okay, thank you so much. Jovia, would you try speaking now?
Can you hear me now?
Okay,
Can you hear me
try
now?
again. Yeah, much better, much better.
So we were talking about getting lost. Should I start afresh?
Yeah, please do.
Yes, I started my statement that I have never been as lost as I've been in my entire life from like when I immigrated to a different land with a different culture. It has been a roller coaster. Today I find myself, tomorrow I don't know where I'm headed. The other day I think I have got it all figured out. Tomorrow it's back to zero, and it's been a journey, and I can say there has been a lot of self-discovery for me. I have learned so many things. I have developed as a person. I have been to levels that I have experienced myself in levels that I had not known about earlier. And I think it's very possible for all of us, but it's also very possible to stay in the dark if you don't do any work about it. So my humble request would be that, yeah, getting lost is going to happen, but don't stay there. You need to find a way to get yourself up. You're muted, Moses.
Thank you, Jovia. Yes, I love this that you answered my next question. Yes, you gave me a fruit and a seed. Thank you so much. Habi, over to you, Sebo. Sharing from experience, both yours and maybe the network around you.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
realize that we, all people, often get lost in the crowd? I mean, immigrants.
Yeah, we all do. I think it's part of our nature as human beings that when you get to a place that is not known to you, you get lost. But it's the place, it's you who is lost, not the place where you are that is lost. I mean, Katugeze, if I get in a place and I find there, when I get here, I land here and I meet people here are cannibals. I can't say, oh my God, I'm lost. Oh, this place is lost. It is you who is lost. So the challenge comes most of the times when we're trying to change the place where we are to fit our situation. That's where we start to change. That's where we meet most of the challenges. We think that it is the place that is lost, yet it is we who are lost. For example, how was I lost? What was I trying to understand that I need to adapt to a cold weather? By thinking I'll get used to it. Now, I just needed to learn how to put on rate. That is me getting to know how that place operates than me struggling, trying to figure out things. Because the more you try to find the place that is lost. Okay, I've seen a lot of people crashing. Like you come here, you're Muslim, you live in places where women are putting on hijabs 24/7, and all of a sudden you come here in the summer and it's like, hey, abantu bagala yitabo kunyo oyinza okugamba ekifo kye kiri lost. Gwali lost. You were in the wrong place. What do I mean? If you try to change the place, you'll always feel like you are lost. But if you try to see what you need from that place to help yourself out, you get back to yourself because the struggles will stop. But remember, I explained to you that there is I am, and my. The sad stuff, when we get here, we start to think of things we're going to acquire to make the my into I am. You get here notandikira expressing, oh my god, bana sina na chendi, oh bana nze ndi kumizinchi chendi ku sinafuna nyumba sinafuna chino. You stress. You think after you get the house is going to describe who you are, or it's going to make you. I'm not saying don't go out and get houses, but the reason people are almost getting heart attacks and getting crazy is they are trying to change the my to be the I. Nayenjukira ovudde Uganda, the life standards that are there, ate zawano ziwanise compared to kuva abava mu ghetto. Abava mu up class okuva Uganda nojja wano abamu, it doesn't mean kati katugeza abaana b'omukulu ne bajja wano olowooza babeera bazze mu modern. So we who come from down, when you come here, n'otuuka wano n'amayembe nga gagamba bw'olituuka enzigi zeggula n'otuuka ali ne zeggula n'ogamba ddala amayembe gakoze. Okay, both you how you see the world, but there is technology. So you need to understand the world around you. Then you won't be so lost. Because the reason why people wash us and change us, we think we were lost. Ne twewayo emitwe gyonna ne baginaza ne bagituddiza nga twagala gwaddalu. So stay in touch. N'abo abadescribinga kiki obiribinga ko bw'oba omanyi n'ogamba wannalayira ndi musiraamu sirya mbizzi ekikubeeza bw'ohanging out n'abali embizzi ojja maliriza olumu akafyo kanaabi
ogigayiza
oba nga togenderedde. So your identity eno eya body na biki bye weetaaga, it connects with who people you hang out with. We always say you are the average of the 5 people you hang out most with. So bwe tujja wano twagala olumu ne twekanyuga sayidi eri batuyambe n'ofunayo mukwano gwo bamuyita Peterson byayogera tabitegeera abannayuganda bonna n'obeesalako abaali kuyambye n'obeeraawo ng'ovuya. Ekyaleetera aba Israelites abaddugavu Ssaabazungu okwetooloola mu ddungu emyaka 4 bo kulowooza nti ekifo bwe bali kyekibuze, so nga be baali babuze. Naye nga baali babuze kuba baali baluzinze connection ku kiki bali munda ne
ate ekintu ekyo nnyini otera okuwulira abantu ng'anoonya direction y'ekifo, tutera nnyo okugamba ekifo kimbuze
ate nga gwabuze kyo kikyayimiridde we kyali.
naye habi mulayini eyo yennyini eno biti esembayo kati gitwale mu Luganda mulayini yennyini nga twogera ku identity. Abantu bannyonnyola identity ekifuula omuntu oyo kyali, naye abantu bakozesa nnyo ebintu nga olulimi, empisa, ennono n'okumanya ensibuko yo. Olulimi kyekimu ku bantu kyekimu ku bintu abantu bye bannyonnyola bye bagamba nti olulimi lunnyonnyola nnyo identity yo. Naye kati njala tutunuulire mu layini y'okuba nti tubuula mu bwaŋŋanguse oba mu masaŋŋanzira, getting lost in the crowd. Abantu mu generation yaffe eno leero nga goledde obulidde mu crowd naye ng'ate olina abaana b'ozadde okugeza ng'olulimi, olowooza kiina kye kikosa okuba nti olwaleero abaana ba Mugisha atera okugaa nti ffe Abannayuganda tetukola bwe tuti, naye ng'ekyo kyogera nnyo okyogeredde ebbanga, naye nga mu bimu ku baana bye bandikutteko ebibakola Abannayuganda gy'oli so proud of. Olulimi tebalinaawo, n'ensi yennyini ebirikowa bye bandisinziddeko gyagala tebabirina, naye nga bano abaana obakuza okuba nti baana Bannayuganda, proud Ugandans. Olowooza waliwo akatubagiro ke tulimu awo. Twogera ku identity crisis, twogera ku getting lost in the crowd. Kyokka waliwo ebintu bino ebimu, tools of identity ze tutegese okukwasa abaana baffe, naye tools ezo ezisinga nga naffe tetuzirina. Njala obeeko ky'oŋŋamba awo jjo byabeeko ky'aŋŋamba ebere biti yaffe esembayo mu sheeno. Njala kyongero kyandalalinga obulungi. Twogera ku identity crisis, getting lost in the crowd. Tuli ba immigrants. oyogera kimbi kati ngano bajovya fa abaganda tetukola tuti abateeso ne baga fa abateeso tukola bwe tuti amune fa abanyankole tukola bwe tuti naye ng'ebyo byeyogera they are only at a lip service naye ng'ebyo by'okutte byogenda okuba omwana wo naye ayogeza amaanyi nti fe abanyoro tetukola tuti fe abateeso tukola tuti naye nga akyo tebiriiwo njagala kyere nfune opinion zammwe awo ku mbeera ya identity crisis no getting lost in the crowd. What's your take, Habi?
My take, the first language that we communicated as human beings was your nature language, whereby wali abantu abamanyi okuwunyiriza to smell how it smells when it's going to rain. My grandma would tell me, you know what, gendo imirire ujja kulaba omusana egumide ziri sawa. That's the language. They could tell where the wind is coming from. Nature was the first language. Languages have been changing on and on. First of all, what is a language? Is a media of communication. But there is also body language. There is also spoken language. Ne sound language. Uganda tumanye ekyo kitegeeza oyogera ne mukazi onaga n'otegeererawo nti gyawunye nga tayogedde kigambo. That's a language. So my children don't speak Luganda, but they know the Lugandan sounds, like as daddy wagamba jiwunye. You know, such sounds Baganda make. So it is a crisis because a language is supposed to be separate, like which connects people together. That's why you see some tribes, they don't even teach of their languages. Why? Because once the enemy learns your language, then you can't hide anything from them. So Nemmakaga mwina kati Moses, if I come in your house, you have your own language. You're communicating amune mukyala unengubadde mwogedde Luganda nganza owebbali nyinzi obutakola ki obutategeera n'abaana bamanyi nti eriiso lya taata bwe litunula ku kkono daddy ategeeza kino. So you could still communicate with your language, and some of us, why we've made that excuse is why our children can't speak our languages, because we want to communicate with them. But it doesn't mean that we don't have an intimate language with our children. We do have that. The crisis might come in him losing his real roots. The rootage is connecting Nekujetwave Uganda. That he might lose that. But olulimi nganze family lubaawo cultures byembibirivingiramu n'enkwala gye nkwatamu ebintu. Is it good that we teach our children our languages? Really, really important for the roots and the cultures. But in homes, in communication, sometimes olulimi.
Yes, webale Habi. Yes, of course atulaba manyi bingi naye byandagadde okuteeka ku kino. Beera waddemu okuteeka comment yo. Amanyi bulungi nti eno line to trading yo eri deeper and even longer than we think. Okwogera ku bintu nga ennimi, empisa, obulombolombo, obuyimba twayimbanga obuto, ebintu nga ebikokyo mu nnimi ez'enjawulo, mu culture ez'enjawulo. Naye nga bino byonna tubitunuulira kweyigirako, kweinspiringa. Tulanye okwegomba amawanga nga Abayindi, Pakistani, Sri Lanka, engeri bo gye bakozeemu ebintu bino. Ate ndoza kiddayo ne wali wogambye Habi, Black History Month, ojja kwesa nti ekipromptinga Black History Month, tojja kwesa nti olw'embeera ya stability ne integration oba resettlement, waliwo time eyo, dark time nga ebintu tebipassing on ku baana nga ebiriment kuba. Kati nga Black History Month comes back okutujjukiza nti there was some years back there was this pride and glory of the black man. Kale tutandikira awo. So naye these are all aspects and areas where we need to throw prompters to even prompt discussions that will yield something in later days. Jovia. Gondi nyine yo kawuma jabaddeko input ye. Yes, I would love to pick your thought on that. Yeah, take it in Luganda. Chitwale yogera mu Luganda. Baleme kugamba nti ana bakyuka ne batereera.
Nsawukana nnyo ne mwami Kawuma kyagamba. Lwakuba nina kye njagala okutangaaza mu kino. okwagala okukyusa ekintu olina okusooka okumanya nti waliwo obwetaavu nti waliwo ekirina okukyusibwa. Nkyogedde kino nkizudde nti nno yadde tukyogera tuli mu forum zino ng'abantu betwogera nabo be bantu baffe abali mu mbeera zezimu ze tulimu, naye ate nga oyinza okusanga nga bo tebakiraba nti kino ekizibu kye tulina nabo bakirina. So n'omulimu kimanya nti ekizibu kiyinza okuba kyaffe ffeka nga si kyabwe, naye ng'abategedde nti no kizibu kyabwe, kyekigere ky'osooka okuteeka mu maaso okulaba nti n'ogenda kukola ki, ogenda kugonjoola ensonga ezo z'olina. Nze bwe najja e Bulaaya nali nga twaga nti person gundi identity crisis eneva mu experiences ze tuyiseemu ng'abantu nga tukulira mu kisono, naye ng'ekiso kye twakuliramu twalinga twogera nnyo, batwogezanga nnyo Oluzungu. Okumanya twayogeranga nnyo Oluzungu nga ne bw'oyogera Oluganda bakukuba, batukuba, batuwa n'ebibonerezo eby'okutwambaza embugo ebintu
Jovia, nsonyiwa okuinterruptinga. Habi, gwe sound ya Jovia ogiwulota nyinza okuba ekizibu kiri wange eno.
No sound egiramu.
Okay, kakati yes, kubanga Sunday agatufiirwe content yo. Kakati option egenda kuba bweti, manyi okozesa laptop awo oli. Yes, kakati ososelekako laptop eyo then no connecting ne sim, no kosa audio ya sim. Then no muting laptop. At least netupikinga gundi eyo. Laptop no girekako olwa video gundi, no tagitawanya, then no connecting ne sim.
Gundi connection edinza okuba ku area wennyini wendi. So can choose a location.
Okay, nga kama wa closing remarks then you come and give yours at once. Yes, kakati bana abalayi baffe twagala bebaza tutambulide musheno nga tubadde oba n'omulamwa nga gukwata ku addressing identity crisis among immigrants. Engeno tunuulira nti identity crisis kyekimu ku bizibu bye tusanga wano mu mbeera ez'enjawulo. Tutambula musheno nga tu opening up emiwaatwa okuba nti beera wa ddembe okuteeka ekirowoozo kyo. Ene video eno enaaba ewedde osobola okuddamu n'ogiraba singa oba ng'oyinize late. Essaawa zino tuli live ku YouTube ne ku Facebook era mujja kubamu clips ezijja okutemebwamu ziteekebwe ku TikTok. Tujja kusanyuka nnyo ng'oyongedde okufollowinga Euroforum ku YouTube, ku Facebook ne ku TikTok. Ate era mu mbeera yemu nga twongere n'okwagazisa abantu okuba nga bw'oba olina ky'olabye ekikolera obeeko ate omulala gw'oyongera okukyagazisa. Miramwa nga gino tujja nagyo buli Sunday tubeera ne shows ku ssaawa 10 tujja zoogera mu z'Uganda essaawa zino ku ssaawa 10:30 ez'Uganda kati buli omu nsi gy'alimu asobola okukonvatinga accordingly. Yes, Jovia. Limited.
Wanje sebo.
Okay, ndowooza tugenderawo. Wanje?
Mpulira bulungi.
Ndowooza wali much better. Tugenderawo.
Sebo, mbadde ensonga gye mbaddeko mbadde ngamba nti nno alaba kati point ebuze.
Oh no, nkutega kangezeeko ogikomyawo. Yes, ekibuzo kibadde kiri ku ensonga z'olulimi nti nga tetunnabatandika kulowooza kikyusa. Tulina osooka okwakinolejinga nti waliwo ekizibu. Ng'owa experience yo nti nga gwe wajja wano ng'ogeza kutubuulira bwe wayitamu.
Nasomera mu masomero g'omu Kisulo nga batuwanya ebibonerezo by'okwogera Oluganda. Nti batuwanya ebibonerezo ebyo ne batutambya n'olulimi nti batukubanga okutuwa ebibonerezo ebyo okubeera okusigala ng'ebweru nga bano bali mu kibiina n'okutuuka okuba nti batwambazanga olubugo okututiisa okwogera Oluganda. Anyway, omulamwa gwe bakola gwo gwatuukirira Oluzungu ne tuluyiga. Ntuuka e Bulaaya wano bannaye ng'abantu boogera ennimi ze sitategeera. Nawulira ennaku nze nga sisobola kwogera Kigundi sentence mu Luganda n'engimala nga teriimu Oluzungu. Era nagamba bannaye kasita ntuuse e Bulaaya nina okuyiga Oluganda. Naye mbadde ku kabwefuba Oluganda nduyize nyingidde mu program ezikwatagana ne Luganda. Lwaki? Kubanga nze ng'omuntu natwala initiative eyo ne ŋŋamba nti wano waliwo obwetaavu era nga mwami Kamwa wagambye nti neera omuntu omanya olulimi lwe taba talina kyayinza kukola ki kukukweka. Ne ŋŋamba naye nsobola otya nange abantu babeera mu trade batwogerako nga tosobola kutegeera nange nsobola otya obboogerako oba nsobola otya okwogera ebyewaffe nga tebampulira. naye nayiga ne ntuuka okuba nti no amasimu gonna genkuba e Uganda baŋŋamba naye kiki mwogera Luganda ne mama obuliriza buwuliriza kiki kyengezaako okwogera nti no omuntu bw'omanya nti obwetaavu bwe buli obukolako tuba twogedde ku baana baffe nti ffe ffennyini bwe tuba tetutegedde nti tulina obwetaavu abaana tetusobola bayamba naye bwe tuba tutegedde yes twabula tubuze tuli mu mbeera eyeetaaga obwetaavu naye ate obusobozi bwe buli programs ezikola kyezituyamba mu bintu bino bwe ziri ziteekeddwawo abakulu mu bitundu byaffe okusobola okutuyambako initiative eyinza okuba teyanguirwa kubanga nze ndabye nga ffe naye ate ekintu kino kiri ku ffe mu Scandinavia okusinga kubanga nagendako waneene mu Talamiruka e London nga ate bo gundi attitude yaabwe endalamuko ebintu bino babikola ki babijjumbira naye kati ffe mu Scandinavia simanyi lwaki ate awo ekintu kyayawukanamuko nti ebintu ebikwatagana n'ebyewaka tugamba bino ebintu tebitukolera twesamba nnyo ebintu ebyo ekyo bwe tunaaba tufunye engeri gye tusobola okutereeza ekyo ne tuba nti no tusobola okujjumbira programu zino waliwo ebintu bingi bye tusobola okukola okuyamba abaana baffe naffe ffennyini okuba nti nno ennono zaffe tusobola oziyiga okuzongerako okusinga bwe tuzimanyi n'okuyigiriza abato bwe tuba twogera ku tekinologiya twamwogerako nga tulina mu Ntabamiruka nti tusobola okukozesa application ez'enjawulo bakoze app tusiiba ku masimu gaffe abo bagamba nti simu ye mukwano gwo bw'oba toyogere n'abantu kolerako omwana muteereko app akole ekyo at least eddakiika 5 ayige ku nnambi busitole bwaffe buli omu nga bwe babeera nga buli kaseera buli bwe tubateerako TV tubateerako ennyimba z'oluswidi ezibalaga culture yaabwe bw'oba okirina mu bwongo obwo nti nno kino ekintu nina okikolako okola ki otwala initiative eyo n'okikola kino okikola nze ng'omuntu nja kwogera nti kyenkola kati nti natandikira ku bitandikibwako abaana bwe baba boogera nti buli sentence gye njagala bayige mu Luganda nkyogera mu Luzungu ne njiddamu mu Luganda nti bw'oba okyadde ekyokuyigirako nti mwami Mushika bw'oba okyadde waneeno ne mwana najja mugamba nti kati ekyo sikyetaaga na kukiddamu mu Luzungu ngamba buuza omwami oyo mu Luganda ng'akubuuza tuyinza okuba tetunnamalayo naye ajja kimanya nti nno waliwo ekintu kye neetaaga okukola ki okuyiga era obeerawo ng'omulaba ng'akubuuza what is a cap mu Luganda kwegamba interest bweri naye interest okusiga ensiga eyo tunagikola tutya nga naffe ffennyini tetulaze nti nno bwetaavu bwe buli n'osanga mu famire nga nze ekintu tewali kintu kinnakuwaza simanyi oba ndi mukyamu okunakuwala naye kinnakuwaza nnyo okusanga abantu baffe nga twogera n'abaana baffe mu lulimi naffe lwe tutamanyi ngenda kukyogera bwe ntyo kubanga bwe mba nze nga njogera ng'omuntu eyaliyize kati ng'olulimi lwe njigidde wanneeno Oluswidi nga ne grammar ng'ali suspect naye ng'oli mu kuyombesa omwana mu olulimi nga naawe oyomba nalwo mugenda kutuuka mutya ku understanding ey'okuba nti no point egenda tuuka naye nga n'olulimi lw'okozesa nalwo lubuzeemu ekyo ekibuuzo viewer akyeddemu era akifunire ekyokuddamu weebalinyese.
Yes, kibuuzo kikulu nnyo ekyo. Buli omu asobola okufuna engeri gy'akyebuuza yeewe ansa. Ekibuuzo kyennyini ekyo nange nzikanya nakyo ate sijja nnyo kwawukana naawe wabula nzikiriza nti ebintu bingi bye tulina okuba nga tuteeka mu mind nga tulowooza ku nkuza y'abaana. Ku kintu ky'olulimi kyennyini njagala okugatta ku kyeyogedde Jovia. Nze abagenyi abakyala ewaffe of course buli mugenyi wa kyala asikirizibwa okutandika emboozi n'omwana. Nze ntera nnyo bagamba nti omwana oyo naayogera Oluganda. Aba atandise how are you? Good bra. Nami naayogera Oluganda. Era omugenyi yagezaako kuŋŋamba no nze lulina kipiro njagala ne ŋŋamba no I set the rules that govern my home owange oyogera naye mu Luganda. I mean of course omuntu so getting off the line omuntu kyayinza okuyita off the line naye kuba just kumanya ki kyoyagala. Tukyaleewo g'osobola okivuga nga bwogera naye wane wange ojja kwogera naye mu Luganda oba muleka azanye ebibye. As simple as that. Okitegera kati bino byonna toseka Jovia. Bino biri serious kubanga nze kugamba manyi no mba manyi bulungi tumanyi Oluganda. Kati nze nkugambye nze nannyini mwana ate okyadde wange. kugambye ategeera Oluganda gwolemedde mugode bra how are you osobola jingiza kugamba nti omuzadde bw'oba omanyi kyoyagala okonveyinga sigezaako kugamba nti that's the only way gwe ekyo kiyinza obutaba kya lulimi ekyakiyinza okuba yonna vali gyoyagala eyingire mu mwana. We must assert our grounds in black and white nga tewali grey area. So anyway, naye omukulu Habi nga tumaliriza ssebo kankusaba closing remarks zo tube nga program tugiwinding up. Then tujja kumaliza tufune closing remarks okuva ewa Jovia tube nga program twebaza abalayi baffe. Ssebo Habi.
Yes, greetings to everybody again. Thank you for keeping yourself here with us. It's such an honor. Sife bagezenya, but I hope you got blessed with whatever we gave you on the 19th of this month. As Ugandans, we'll be gathering all together to think and to talk about and meditate about Uganda here in Oslo. And I'll be there with you guys. About the identity, it's a life journey. Everybody and each and every one of us alive today to find who really they are. Because now we're living in the most confused world. It goes beyond language. Kuba sobola okuyiga olulimi naye ng'empisa temuli ng'ayogera Oluganda n'alukozesa kuwemula. So who you are goes beyond even the language. Kati munnange bakasirwe Uganda abatogera Luganda bo tebasi Baganda. Bwe muba mu kika kyammwe bwe mulinamu kasiru nga tayogera oyo taba Muganda kuba tayogera Luganda. So, and I'm saying that the first thing you need to know is, as an immigrant here, you ran away from the country of your language so that you can come here, that you can establish yourself. So when you learn a language here, you're just gonna make your life easier. So manyi bangi kuffe, I myself being one of those, twali traumatized mu bulamu bwe twakuliramu ne how we were brainwashed n'endowooza gye twalowooleza obulamu, that abaana baffe tugezezaako nnyo ba protecting, that we even protect them from our fears. That's why there was a time bw'oyigiriza omwana wo n'ayiga mangu Luzungu, walowoozanga deep in your brain nti at least omwana wange ali safe, ne bw'alifuluma e Bulaaya omwana wange alimalako. Now tutegedde kati ate nti ne Bulaaya gye tutuuseeyo ne bw'alwogera n'alufuuwa ate naye ng'akyalina kale eno still bakyamubuuza where are you from, ne be bazaaliddemu wano nga tebabeerango na katabo ka Uganda era bababuuza where you from. So ebintu bino bwe mbikugamba gwe manyawo otudde ne famire wo ne bw'oyimiridde. So bw'onoogaana abaana totally okwogera olulimi luza wano nobagamba bafe ku lw'ewaka lwokka ng'ate ogenda baleka babeere wano most of the time, ate era nawe wabaawo okukutogera. So beera omuntu awuliriza bye tugamba. Omanyi internet ennaku zino esuula eddala ddala bagamba tokozesa toothbrush tosenya, ate senya emirundi ena, senya gumu gwokka, noga kakati nkole biki, n'osigala ng'oli mu kkubo ekyokukola ekituufu nga tokimanyi. So what I'm saying, gwe tunuulira your dreams naki ekyakuleeta wano, but all in all nja kugamba nti bagamba agali awamu ge galuma ennyama. So kiba kirungi n'owatawa dream gye wajjirako nodda n'okomawo mu bantu bo, kubanga be bayinza olumu okutegeera according ku what gy'ova. So that is an important fact that gwe weesalirawo mu bigambo bino bye tugamba. Abaana mubayigirize ennimi, mubayigirize n'empisa. Ekyokuyigiriza just olulimi nga tekugendereddweko oli ayi ow'omunda yennyini empisa. So bibyo bye mbagambye, tusigale nga twezuula nga nange bwe nkyezuula. Ndowooza eno emu ku programu ezigenda ossembayo ng'omwami ono ampita Habi Kawuma. Ndowooza katujja tandika okukozesa agajjajjange na kitange bye bampitanga Ssebuli Bakawuma, mpozi n'eryange nze eryayaaya mbuwaya gwe kivunule nga bw'oyagadde. So tuddayo ku nnono, ekyo nkikola lwaki? Kubanga siri Uganda kumanyisa mwana wange buvumu bwa musajja omufirika jjajjange bwe yali. So ntandika okukola ebintu bwe bityo mwagazisa empisa n'okumwagazisa kikyendi gyenva newankubadde ndi mu nsi eno. Kubanga ne Victoria bwe yajja ewaffe era bamuyita simanya Queen Elizabeth, tebaamutuumako Nalubaale oba Nakamadde, so nga naalyagadde naye yalizeeko eno ewaabwe nga bamuyita Nakamatti, naye era yafa bamuyita lye bamuyita. Nange ndabika ndigenda osiibulwa ndiba mpita Ssebuli Bakawuma kuba ge gagamba.
Webale nnyo ssebo. Kawuma, ku nsonga yennyini njagala omulabi waffe tube nga tulina balanced opinion gye tumuwadde. Ku nsonga y'olulimi kyemmanyi ne Jovia naye kyannyonnyola. Okunnyonnyola kuno tekuli nti nno leka Oluswidi, leka Olufalansa, abulayiga Luganda. Nze kakati out of curiosity okwagala ddala okumanya abantu bano be tuwaana, Pakistan, Abasomali, aba Eritrea bakola batya abana okuyiga ennimi. Naye bonna bembuuzizzaako kye bagamba kiri kimu. Bwe tuyingira ewaffe onookikira okuma ku mulyango. Bonna kye boogera onookikira okuma ku mulyango. Wano ewaka twogera Lupakistani, twogera Luwudu, twogera Eritrea, twogera lulimi lw'eka. Era ekyo kye kimu kyenkoppi ate era okiranga kigezaako okukola. Kati tukimanyi bulungi nti olulimi luno olw'ensi zino lwo tulina kyaddukolera. Akyo tulina kyolina tteeka mu lwekola luka kuba olufuluma omulyango gw'oti okubira ddala mu lifuti buli gwasanga lulimi lwayogera. Kati kino kye twogerako era kye mbadde ngambako nti abagenyi abakyala ewange mbaga nti omwana ono ayogera Oluganda. Ekyo kikola bukozi waka. Naye we wafuluma tolina kontrol. Naye of course we wafuluma era omuzadde. Era yonna gye tugenda n'omwana twogera ki? Luganda. Kogamba nti luno Oluganda lwe lw'okupikamu ennyo. Ate era naffe aboogera nti opikamu naye nga mulimu munene. Nze nga sinafuna mwana nga nnenya nnyo abazadde bombi nga Bannayuganda. Ng'omwana tayogera Luganda. Naye mmaze ettambula lugendo ne nkakasa nti b'osanga ng'abaana boogera Oluganda aba heroes. Mulimu munene nnyo nnyo nnyo. Kyova olaba ntuteekawo conditions buno obukakali kubanga olina kukola nnyo okulanga abaana boogera Oluganda. Okay, njadde kwongera kugattawo ku ekyo naye nga tugenda kusukkawo bannange kansabe Jovia tubebiga ebisembayo tube nga kyo tutugala. Nyabo Jovia.
Nsonyi nsebo nange ebigambo byange kambifuule bitono kuba ngira saawukana nnyo ku nsonga ebadde eyogeddwako era nga tukyali ku kya identity crisis. Manya gy'ova omanyi gy'olaga. Kino si ffeffeka abakyogera ne baana bannaffe be twasanga nabo bakikiriziganya. Toyinza kumanya kyannaku naye ng'ate kituufu tosobola kumanya gy'olaga nga tomanyi gy'ova. Kuba tomanyi ky'odduka, oyinza okudduka n'odda gy'ova. So manya gy'ova. Then oba gy'ova ng'olaba nti gwe tewagenda kukolera at least otegeddeyo. Naye abamu tetumanyi naye ate tuddukayo. Ogamba abantu baffe baatama, abantu bamwe be baani. Bakuzaala wabani abeewamma abo baakutama. Tobamanyi nabamanya naye badduka. So manya gy'ova then otegeere gy'olaga. Kubanga olina gy'olaga okuggyako anyway. Bansonyiwemu ate nkyusizzamu kubanga ate abamu twatuuka. Kale abalina gye balaga nkikomizaawo. Abalina abaana nabo mubayambe bwe baba balina gye balaga balina gye balaga bambi tebannatuuka kubanga bali mu bannaabwe abali mu nsi zino bagenda tuuke bo babalage nti mu nsi zino twakolanga bwe tusinewe bati bambi bayambe bali mukula nnyo. Olaba nti nno ffe tuwula nga tetumanyi ne gye batuziika amawujje gano gabula nnyo nga bo tebalina na idea. Bamubuuza omwana yajja n'ambuuza nti bambuuziza ekibuuzo ku ssomero naye nga sobola kiddamu nti halo buli ensi zonna zonna zirina eyo short greeting hey halo gundi omanyi nga zonna zonna naye ffe mu Luganda tukyogera tutya. Abooluganda kyannema nzirika nti nakinoonyezaako n'ekifuna naye okumanya kyali kifu era nkyerabidde. Naye kati ebintu ng'ebyo nti bw'aba tasobola na kukijja ku mutwe okukola ki okubagamba kyava. Abaana baffe babula nno basanga nti ate bagenda kwagala okufaanana bano ate nga mwami skin yo yatulaze dda si baawano. So mubayambe tubayambe baleme kubula nnyo tubalage gye bava. Tesinaffe byonna byonna bye tumanyi bazadde baffe si bye baabitulaga. Bawe foundation bajja kola ki kweyongerera kubambi tobakutogera. Era ekyo kyenkomyeko nti programu zibeerawo bambi oba muziwulidde ng'eyo omwami Kawuma gy'alanze tubigendemu tumanye twezimbe twongere okumanya gye tuva so that natwe bwe tuba tutudde nga tuwala n'abalala oba tuboogerako tuyina tools zonna ze twetaaga saagala ate mutudde mu discussions naye nga tuli mu gundi tuli mu hearsay muleete facts mu bintu bino bye tukola ki bye tukubaganyako ebirowoozo tukule tuleme okwogera bwogezi nti bwenti bwe nakolanga gundi bwe yakolanga lwaki yogera nti abaganda beeyisa bwe batyo lwaki yogera nti abateeso lwaki yogera nti abakyoli bwe batyo manya ffenna tukulire wamu bwenti bwe mbalesa abooluganda naye identity crisis bw'oba ogiremu toli wekka get help. There's help out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jovia and Habi. Kadde kawadde kalungi kemutuwadde. Walabi baffe bali twagala okubebaza njagala kwebaza Euroforum team. Tuli team neneko omuli abaweereza wano ne Uganda tulina omwami Muza Gibson, Irene Nalumu, Esther Nantongo, Janet Yahaya Naggolola. Wano tulina omwami Smogi John Remy ali Denmark, Finland tulina Samantha Elf, Sweden tulina Jorin Nassari nange wano e Norway. Bwe tutambuza Euroforum era of course awamu ne nammwe ba viewers baffe. Ate nga tulina patron waffe omwami Kasiri Fred ali Georgia awo. Nammwe ba viewers ne ba guests nga mmwe abateekayo obudde okulaba ntujja tubeeko kye tugatta ku society yaffe. Nange maliza ngamba nti obulamu buno tutambulira mu namba 2. Discussions ziba zitambulira mu kuba nti bateekawo figure 9 gw'ogirabireyo nga 9 nze ne ngiyita 6. So ekikola enjawulo kwe kuba bold okuwa opinion yo n'okugamba nti I disagree n'okugamba nti I differ nze ndowooza bwe nti ompromptinga okugenda deeper ku argument yange ne tweyigirako bwe tutyo. Tobeera shy ku disagreeinga na muntu adaleka nga mugeza atya. Nina platforms ntera okubaako nkuliko abantu nga bwe basinze naye nga sigana kweta boni sikutegedde. Yes, so wadde omuntu aleka nga mumanyi omuntu ali mu session yemu ng'omuntu instructinga ba profile yajogedde emyaka 3 biki ninze yogera ekintu nga sikitegera mugamba nze ndowooza ekyo kifu tomaliza nga nze mufu naye nga mbuuzizza. So tobeera shy okudisagreeinga, tobeera shy okubuuza ate era jjukira nti eyo opinion yo gi owning naye oba ogibuuza antamba batera okubuuza ebibuuzo n'agamba nze nno ndowooza bwe nti simanyi waki oba kiyinza okuba si kyamagezi nnyo naye gamba mbuuza bwe nti eyo opinion yo gi owninga oli kagiwotering down naye ng'agiwetaringira ku fact. So mwebale nnyo ate era ng'Euroforum gye tuli tusurvivingera ku bigambo no opinions twemanyize nnyo nti n'obeerayo mu settings entonotono ne banno okudisagreeinga wemanyize nnyo okuraisinga quality ya argument yo naye si ddoboozi n'olulimi teruvaako nze no improving a quality ebintu emu kubitwala abantu mu ssomero bene mulooza nziba just degree akamala masuuti ne bino ebiri basic sajja asigala ali kambo ati discussion eba heated up naye asigala ali kambo naye nga improving a quality ya argument naye nga tetujja kusukkawo awo sandejja tugenda kubeera n'omukyala Samantha Elf Finland awo ate yajja okubeera nga ali ku show wano. Nze njala kubaagazisa kuba nti show zino zetteekayo abakulu bano ajja okufisa obudde tuzirabe. Gye nkomye okutambula emyaka n'olugendo lw'obuzadde gye nkomye okumanya nti simanyi. Nga waliwo insecurity eno ejja mu kubeera omuzadde bwe bakuwabula n'omwana wange waba omukyala gwe wamunsindikira emyezi 9 yebe n'osobinyo naye nze gye nkomye okubeera mu buzadde gye nkomye okumanya nti simanyi. So open up to learning. Baabogera ku by'abazadde toba insecure nnyo toba protective nnyo open up. Ayinza okuba kyannyonnyola ng'obadde okikolera ebbanga ddene ate tulifalinga ku bakadde baffe ayinza okuba bakadde baffe nga byali bituufu mu generation yabwe nga bifu mu generation yaffe. So be open to learning, be very objective nga tulaba ebintu. Nsigadde ndi Moses Mugisha awamu n'omukulu Habi Kawomenowe awamu n'omukyala Jovia Mukwaya. We sign out for now. Mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala Euroforum your platform.